Know about that, we're cosplayers. I don't wear this in normal everyday life. I'm pretty sure my boss would have an issue with this. So let's get started. Okay, this photo might be a little hard to see because I need some light. There's several cameras up here. We have your standard point and shoot, a novelty lomograph, fisheye, a film camera SLR, a digital SLR. Which one of these cameras do you think took this photo? Which one?
Point and shoot.
Point and shoot. Anyone else?
Hello Kitty.
that was a giveaway because it's a fisheye lens. Yes, you're right. Point and shoot took this photo. The point I'm making here, you don't have to have a nice camera to take good photos. Next slide, please. Which camera took this photo? That we can barely see. Anyone got an idea? No, not the point and shoot. This was actually the digital SLR. I used a Nikon D40 for con photography. I used something a lot bigger at work. Next, what about this one?
That was not a camera.
That is not the correct answer, but bless you. Any ideas? Which camera do you think took this one? Giving up, giving up. Okay, it was the film camera. It's an old 1980s Minolta SLR camera. Took that shot. Alright, next. So your camera. We got your compact digitals. Nikon, Coolpix, Canons, Kodak, anything, the small ones. Those are your cameras that do not have detachable lenses. Those are your cameras that do not have super zooms. Your advanced digital cameras, those are the ones that they may not have a detachable lens. They will have your big zoom on them. They will take higher megapixel qualities. DSLR, digital single lens reflex cameras. The best way to know what these are, you can remove the lenses and add new ones, like this shiny zoom lens. Manual SLRs. This is a manual SLR. You can remove the lenses. It's old. It uses film. I don't recommend using film cameras at a convention. You don't know what you're going to turn out with. You never know what you've got on there until you get home, and then the convention's over. You can't go back in time. They can turn out some really cool photos, nice film grain, but I don't recommend them for in the convention shooting. Novelty cameras. This is my Hello Kitty lomograph fisheye. Fisheye lenses, if you don't know, are the ones that make you look like you're in a fishbowl. It's a circular effect. I don't recommend using these either. And disposable. Say you're really bad at losing things or breaking things. Disposable. I promise you can take good photos with them too, if you remember some things I'm going to go over. Okay, 2 vocabulary lessons for this talk. Aperture. In layman's terms, aperture is the amount of light your lens is going to let in. So if you're using a film camera, that's how much light is going to hit that film. Shutter speed is how fast your shutter closes. The higher the shutter speed, the more action you can catch. So you've got some crazy moving around like me, she's going to catch it. But you have to think about light and that. I'm going to go over that. I'm not going to go farther into that. If you want to know more about aperture, shutter speed, and using your camera on manual settings, read your book on your camera. Read your manual. Take a class. Take a class. I cannot recommend that enough. Who next? Okay, basic camera controls. You'll see these on almost every single camera. A, or the green rectangle symbol. Sometimes it'll be a green camera. That's your automatic mode. Your camera will do absolutely everything for you. And that's a really great setting to use for just walking around a con. Say someone's walking down the hallway, you want a picture of them, they are in a hurry, you're in a hurry, snap a quick picture. The flash will automatically work for you. Everything will turn out perfectly. Program mode. That takes care of your flash, your shutter speed, and your aperture you get to change your ISO. You get to deal with ISOs like film speed. If you know normal old cameras, 100 speed is slower, takes really nice, beautiful color photos. Am I going over your heads? That's okay. A or AV on Canon cameras is aperture priority. That's that word that I used before. Aperture priority sets. You get to choose what aperture is, how much light you're letting in. It will set the shutter speed for you. All right. S or TV on Canon cameras is the shutter priority. You set the shutter speed, it'll set the aperture for you. Manual mode, you are all on your own. You have to do that all by yourself. Aperture, shutter speed, ISO, everything. If you're not really know much about cameras, I wouldn't recommend it using for con shooting because it's going to take a lot of trial and error. There are other options on your cameras most often. The little portrait. She's fired. The little portrait thing. That lets you take portrait mode. That's where you have, say you have someone in your foreground, the background is going to be blurred. You're focusing on your subject. Mountain is generally landscapes. On most cameras, that's the mountain setting. Everything's going to be crisp and clear. Flower usually represents macro modes on cameras. If you want to get really close to something, say you want to get a detail, say you want to get the picture of someone's new retirement, like the headband, that would be a great setting for that. The Running Man, quick shots. Say you got a bunch of people moving around, play fighting, things like that, that's a great setting. It'll take them fast, it'll have a high shutter speed. Next. Okay, lighting. Natural sunlight and artificial or indoor light is what you're going to be looking at in cons. So, the rule of thumb with lighting, always have your subject facing the light. Even if the sun's in their eyes, you want the light on them, or you're going to end up like this photo. You can't see her face. There's no face there, because she is standing with her back to a lighted window. Rule of thumb. Remember it. If you remember one thing from this, remember, always have your subject facing the light. Okay, so these are some examples, and they're a little hard to see because it's dark. I can turn some of the lights down. Of some indoor lighting shots. This couple right here, the Chiki and Hideki, they are standing completely under one light. It's not ideal. It'll cast some shadows, you'll miss a lot of detail, but it can create some cool effects. So say you're a night in the con center, that might be an option if you want to get kind of a different feel to it. This one taken right here, a Scarecrow cosplayer is in a completely well-lit room, like a lobby of a hotel. You see all the details, everything is there. Next. I'm going to go over composition. There are several rules of composition in the photography world. I'm going to go over mine. Because you can learn everything that anyone else will tell you, but it's not always so applicable to cosplay and convention photography. So these are the things I've learned throughout the years of doing this. Fill the frame. Like this one, her head is at the top of the frame, her torso is at the bottom. Everything side to side is taken up. That way you have the focus on her. If you're taking a picture of a cosplayer, that's what you need your focus to be on, is the cosplayer. Mergers. Mergers is our little word for don't stand your person in front of a pole so it looks like the pole's coming out of their head. Or say you have someone standing in front of someone like me, and then they have bunny ears all of a sudden, and they didn't have bunny ears before. Easy way to fix that, move, just take it from a different angle, or ask them to take a step over. Background. A little difficult in conventions. There's always going to be crowded hallways. If you can, ask your subject, stand against the wall. If they're not, too big of a hurry. You want to think about the kind of picture you're portraying. If everything has a busy background, they're not going to focus on the subject. Don't be afraid to use angles. Everyone that I'm seeing walking around in a hallway is generally at their eye height. What if you squat? What if you get on your tiptoes? What if you tilt your camera? You can get interesting photos. Then they'll be so much more different than everyone else's you see flipping through the convention photos from the year. Next. This is my biggest pet peeves. Working with the person you're taking photos of. As a cosplayer and as someone that works with a lot of cosplayers, these are some things I've picked up. Always ask someone before you take their photo. If they're already in a photo thing where a bunch of people are taking photos, obviously fair game. If they're walking around eating a cheeseburger, you know, like stuffing Pocky in their mouths, ask them. Chances are they probably want to put that stuff down and they probably have a pose for you. And it's going to take just a second and you're going to have a great photo. Private shoot etiquette. Say you ask this awesome Ramona Flowers cosplayer right here, hey, do you want to come out for a second outside and do some photos? I would really love to get you one-on-one out of the hallway. A little creepy sometimes. Ask her to bring someone with her. Tell her to bring her friends. Say, hey, do you and your crowd want to come out here? I would really love to get your photos of your costume. Chances are, that cosplayer is going to be like, yes, 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 I get a photo shoot, me! And now I've embarrassed you and you're leaving!
No, no, no. I forgot my camera.
Anyway. Also, the buddy system works great. Say your subject, what if she's under 18? What if he's under 18? You want their buddies with them. You know you're not creepy. They don't know you're not creepy. Also, their buddies can be insurmountable amount of help for you. Say they got something out of place, and you don't want to be the one to help them with it. Say something's showing that shouldn't be shown. That's where their buddy comes in. Which leads to the next thing. Give your model some direction. Say someone is just standing there, arms by their side, and you want a photo of them. Say, hey, can you lift your arm and show some detail of your costume? Do you have a pose for that character? Chances are they probably have something. Or you could say, I would love to see the back detail of your costume. You know, they'll probably turn around. You can get some things from that. Oftentimes, some cosplayers that aren't so familiar with having their photos taken will want some direction. Next, encourage your model. If you're like, thanks, that's awesome, your costume's great, they're gonna have that natural smile. They're gonna be so happy, and that's gonna turn out perfect. Ask the model, if you're doing a solo shoot, what he or she is looking for. If you're doing a one-on-one photo shoot with a cosplayer or with anyone, ask them what they want out of these photos, because it really can open up some dialogue, and you can get some great shots, and they can get shots that they would love. Be friendly, but not creepy. There's a fine line. And I think you guys know what it is. Thank someone, you know, but don't be like, I really love your boobs in that. Be like, you look really pretty, not, I would totally do inappropriate things I can't say out loud to you. Creepy. If they have a look of shock on their face, chances are you went too far. Okay, remember, cosplayers are people too. They're not the characters. They are people in costumes. They try really, really hard to emulate the characters they love. They put all their time and effort into them, but underneath, they are people. You need to respect them. Thank them, be friendly. Don't think that they are here just for you. Because chances are, they just wanted to look pretty. Remember, thank yous and exchange information. Say you got some really great photos and you want to share them. Exchange some information. Give an email. Probably not phone number. Email is great. chances are they're going to put things on like cosplay.com or DeviantArt, and they can credit you, and you can get your name out there. And who doesn't like that? Except humble people. Next. Okay. Candids. Not all photos need to be posed. One thing I recommend with candids though, take them of your friends. Take them of people you know. Because if you're taking pictures of that person eating a cheeseburger walking down the hallway, they're probably gonna be mad at you. Get a little creative. In this shot, I was sitting on the ground. I was looking at my friend, she was looking at something else. She looked pretty, lighting worked really well. Snapped a shot. By no means like, oh my gosh, bow down to me, I'm an awesome photographer. It's a cute candid, stick it on Facebook. You're trying to capture the moment here. You have so many great moments at a convention. Grab your camera, take pictures of them. Like, try not to have all those silly things posed sometimes. It'll turn out great. Next. Okay. This is the part where all of you guys get to help me out here. I have several photos. I want you to tell me what you like about them, what you hate about them. What would you do differently? What would you change? So who wants to start with a Supergirl?
Why is Supergirl? I'll do it. I think they needed to get like from more of a top angle because Shield's kind of huge in it.
Yeah,
Like you know,
that's legit. No, you will not. Don't worry about offending anyone. I don't think any of these people I took pictures of are cute, except her. But that's not her. Yeah, this is not the most flattering angle for her. She is not a big person, but the angle has made her look like she is. If you're having someone with a belly bearing costume, lower angles are probably not the best ideas. You want to capture them from above. Next. Power Girl. Love, hate, indifference. What do we see here? Don't be shy.
The light at the bottom is weird.
So that would be a timing issue. The best times of day to take photos outside, sunrise, and no one likes to get up that early. So sunset. The issues though with sunset sometimes can be, if you're not getting it too late into the sunset, you're gonna have some harsh light. Same as if you're doing it midday. If you're having midday photos, find some shadows, find some trees, find some buildings. Get some of that harsh light off of your subject. Next. Ramona Flowers. Not this room. What do we see about this thing?
The photo's not like center.
No, they don't have to be. Do they have to be?
There's an artistic
Yeah.
actual.
Is it still aesthetically pleasing if she's not in the middle of the frame? Yeah. You don't have to stick her in the middle of the frame. You don't have to stick him in the middle of the frame. Whoever it is. Say you have a really great background. This one's not so awesome. There's cars. It can create some visual interest if they're in the front, in the side. Yeah. The cars are distracting. I hate the cars. They're dumb. But I'm not putting the best photos on here, so we have some things to talk about. Next. What about this Alice?
That one's pretty cool. I like the angle. The angle's really neat.
It's a little stretched out because it's not that high quality of a photo.
It kind of looks like the Kingdom Hearts Alice where she's kind of falling down. That's cool.
Think about the character. That's a great thing. If you know the character that you're taking a photo of, it can really help for you to visualize interesting angles. You think the light's unnecessary? The flash? Yeah.
totally changes the way the background.
Yeah.
And it washes her out.
Yeah, I watched it.
She doesn't look as pretty as she usually is because of the flash. If you can, take your camera on flash mode. See what you can do in low light. Often you're going to have to hold your camera very steady, and I would show you, but if you get low and set it on your knee, sometimes that works, but I'm in a skirt. Anyway, next. Angel Sanctuary cosplayers. What do we see about this?
I feel like if maybe the one on the top maybe moved closer to the other,
Mm-hmm.
it might be better because the hotel wouldn't be so
Yeah.
prevalent in the background. It would be more natural out in nature.
And she's kind of leading your eye out of the out of the picture.
Yeah.
If you see her there, but then you're focusing on that, and then your eye's out of the picture, you're gone. You're not even looking at it anymore. I personally wish that she was looking at the camera. Or at least looking so you see her, at least most of her face. Because when you got a wall of hair.
Well, with it being so far out of the picture, it just looks like she's just like some random person sitting on this
Mhm.
couch.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't look like she's incorporated into what's happening. She's a random bystander, if, as far as you know, you know? Anything else? Next. What about this Chiki? Yeah?
Since her dress is white in the background and so neutral colors, she's all kind of washed out.
Exactly. If you have a white outfit in a white background, in a bright sky, she's gonna be there, gone. Try to find a darker background for lighter costumes. It'll really help them pop. Anything else?
I don't like her pose.
You don't like her pose?
Her leg being out doesn't seem very chi-ish to me.
And her one leg's missing.
Yeah.
It's gone. She looks like the one-legged cosplayer.
It's also the shadow on her face.
Mhm. That's because of the lighting. She's not facing the light. The light is behind her. So we're having issues with that too. Great eye. Next. What about Fran? Fran. However you pronounce that.
The way she's built it makes her kind of seem just like, yeah, like her
Disproportionate?
just misshapen.
Yeah.
Like
She
can't
looks
be
a
any
lot more
perfect.
top heavy. And she's kind of making her legs look stubby. I don't like that her ears are cut off. It's a small thing, but I hate that her ears are cut off. I love the intensity in her face. I love the hand gesture. But the fact her ears cut off really bothers me. Needs to lift that camera up, and to make her look not so misshapen, she's probably at a lower angle. Probably need to bring that angle up. Next. Sniper Wolf. It's a different kind of look than we've looked at before. Cosplayer on the ground.
I feel like she almost looks like she's taking a nap after a hard day of cosplay.
It kind of almost doesn't fit the cosplay.
She has,
She-
no,
What?
she has no feet.
She does not have feet. That one leg is tucked behind her butt. So again, one-legged cosplayer. These are things you want to focus on if you want a good quality photo. Because you need to see what you're looking at. Chances are, you've taken a photo, you think it's great, take a look at it in your viewfinder. And then do another one if it's not perfect. If it's not to your liking. I also don't like that this cosplayer is looking with her eyes up. One of them, her hair is in one eye, the other one you barely see. She has very big eyes, and I don't think that's the best look for her. But that's a personal thing. You'll have your own personal things. Next. What about you now?
Lack of shadows.
Lack of shadows? Too much light.
Land is in the background.
Merger! She's not a tree! But another thing I noticed is her braid bothered me, the placement. I wish it was on her back. That's a choice of mine. And you only have a little bit of her staff, so you're kind of wondering, what is that? Next. Clockwork Ruin. She's a steampunk cosplayer. What do we see about this photo?
Modern building.
Sometimes that can be a really interesting juxtaposition. Putting something that's old or putting something that where it doesn't belong. It can create some interest. One thing I really love about this photo is she's looking at her watch. There's a clock behind her.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. It's kind of funny. The problem, though, is I don't like the angle because the building looks like it's about to fall down.
It kind of looks photoshopped in almost, by the way.
But I like the lighting. I love the way the wind was working out, brushing her hair across the face. What?
I like the detail you were able to get in the photo.
Yeah, because you're so close to her, you can see the detail. Don't be afraid to get close-ups. Head to toes, great. Get in there for some close-ups.
When you mentioned that you can see that she's looking at her watch, but then there's a clock in the background, if I didn't understand that it was steampunk or I didn't really know, I would almost say, what is she looking at? Because her hand is covering a lot of it, and the angle of it makes it very flat.
Exactly.
It could be a
If
compass.
she-
It could be anything, really.
Yeah, maybe ask her to tilt her hand out more so you can see what she's looking at. If her eye direction's the same, it'll still look natural. Next. Cinderella.
She's kind of washed out.
Dig an angle.
Granted, this girl is a very, very, very white.
The pose isn't very princessy.
It is not.
The angle kind of bothers me.
The building she's in.
Yeah, it's like you can't get her hair in it. It's not that
She looks more like a fairy godmother than she does Cinderella.
Exactly. It's not, it doesn't work with the character, which can make a great, interesting shot for your own personal game. This is interesting to me because this cosplayer is really short. She is really tiny. She is skinny, tiny, really short. We have made her look like gargantuan because of the angle. I also enjoy, she's not in character, neither Snow White behind her. Even though she's kind of like Snow White tumor because of the merger. Next. Same cosplayer again as Freya. What's different on this that we like or don't like? Can you see how white she is now? Wasn't lying. It's a standard portrait. You're not showing most of the costume. Her one ear is missing, so you can't see a whole lot of the fact that she's supposed to be a Persicom. The one pole in the back of her head sticking out. She doesn't normally have a pole in her head, I promise. That's just some things I see. Anyone else?
It looks like her, the weapon or what, but it looks like that's like coming out of her shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, she's holding on to a beam. And it's because you can't see most of the beam, it looks off.
I think that the shadows are not that flattering for her face. They make it look like she's got fuller cheeks and her eyes look darker than
She
usual.
almost looks sick.
Yes. Yeah. With her coloring, it's not good.
Yeah. Not the best photo. Next. Gabriel.
More lighting on her face. I do like the lighting on the hair though.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I hate about this photo is there's a chair in that one corner and it always catches my eye.
Oh, the little legs.
I love the angle on her. She's a really tall person. It was difficult to get higher than her, but it really helps with the character, I believe, because she's a fallen angel. You need to look down on her. Not like look down on her, but you know. Boo you. Next. Left. From Fire Emblem. I don't know if you're familiar. What do we hate, love about this?
I don't think that pose is that alley looks was what she was going for.
Yeah. It's not perfect for the character.
No.
And her badge is showing.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. If you have a badge and you're your subject, maybe ask them to move it. Maybe get yourself at an angle where you don't see it. So that's one of the things that I hate about it. The things I love about this, I love the shadows. I like the lighting. It's really, I like it. It's interesting to me. This was taken outside of the building of the old Animazement Convention Center. Yeah, a lot of these are AZ photos. Next. What about this ninja? First of all, you can see her. But besides that, what else do we see on this? So we hate, love, and different. Full on flashlight. If you can handle not using flash, if you can get around it, I would recommend not using flash. One of the things I hate about this is, and you might not see it from where you are, but where I see it, she's got red eye. Go into Photoshop. If you don't have Photoshop, most computers come with some basic editing program that will get rid of red eyes for you. Yeah, some digital cameras usually can take care of it for you.
There could be something in her hair.
Yeah, merger. It's not the best angle. It's straight on.
Shane's get a little distracting too.
Yeah,
Like so much
it's really interesting,
stuff
but
going
there's
on.
so much.
Yeah, there's too much to look at, and I believe that the pipes are leading you out of the photo.
Yeah.
They're not keeping your look at the subject.
Is it better to have full-on flash with someone or a kind of shaky non-flash picture?
I would not recommend doing, getting yourself out of focus with shake. Use a flash if you need to. So, you're not going to always want to carry around a tripod or something like that. You're not going to have a table to lean on. But if you can get away with not using flash, try it out. If it turns out too shaky, use a flash. Sometimes with lighting, you can't always get what you want. Unless you're carrying around fill flashes and things like that, but we're doing beginners. Next. What about the Snow White? She's a bigger person. Any lower angles are going to make her look bigger. She's also very top heavy. Higher angles or straight on angles are going to be better for this.
From a styling perspective, I wish that there was someone there who would have like smoothed down the hair,
Exactly.
pulled out wrinkles in the shirt. Those are
She's
just
got wrinkles.
against
She's
the
got
white
hairs
and
out of in the
yeah,
way. You're
it's
exactly right.
that's what I'm looking at first.
It's not clean.
There's a merger on the tree there. It's really not.
It's almost nearing a merger. And I wish her hand was showing so you see what it's doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, why is her arm up that way? I need to see that.
And maybe also, if it was a full picture, so you could see top to bottom, the lower half.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, with the picture, you're just focusing on this
Yeah.
area and the mess instead of doing.
Sometimes it's great to have you want the full body of a cosplayer. Sometimes you want to zoom in and get some details too. This is a little portrait. Also, I would have moved her head up higher to the top of the frame so you got a little more of the skirt. So you can fill in the blank with the rest of your imagination.
Well, if you look at it the wrong way, her skirt kind of looks like it's actually, I thought the shirt was belly bearing or first and just looked yellow.
Exactly. You could have issues with that if you're not intending the things that you're getting in your photo. Does that make sense? Words. Yeah, if you had moved her up in the frame and got more of the skirt, it would have eliminated that look. Next. Steampunk cosplayer.
That pipe thing is so distracting. Instead of look at her, I'm staring at the pipe. What that is.
Their focus is on the pipe, and personally, my focus is on why is the bottom half overshadowed, and the rest of it is not. There's too much sky in this photo, for my own personal opinions, and there's a random tree. This random tree is random. It kind of takes you out of the background that has been created. And I know if any of you have gone to old Animasement, it's really difficult to find good places to take photos.
Yeah.
So sometimes you gotta go with what you can find. Not ideal, however. Oh, that's it!
Yay!
Any questions? Any questions for the silly bunny girl? I promise I'm a photographer. This is the basics. If you want to know more and you really, really want to get into photography, go to a local community college. Take a class. I took a black and white class twice because I loved it so much. They'll teach you things on composition They'll teach you things on lighting. They'll teach you how to use your camera. If you take a black and white class, you get to play with lots of chemicals and develop things yourself. It's really insurmountable knowledge if you really want to get into photos. If you just want to walk around and you want to get some great shots of your friends, the people you see, focus on some of these things we've learned, and you'll get some great shots. Don't be afraid to use angles. Don't be afraid. Because everyone's photos and every single con slideshow, straight on, eye length, eye height. Try to get something unique. Show them something they haven't seen before. Don't forget your lighting to things. You want to have your subject facing the light. Sometimes they can be squinty. Little trick on that, if it's too bright, have them look down. Count to 3, and tell them to look up on 3. Snap the shot. It'll lose the squint. Anything else I can tell you about? Like I said, basics. I'm really a school photographer. I'm really good at portraits. I've done photography for years. I grew up in it. I've gone to school for it. But these are basics. And I can still take crappy photos. We couldn't see. Yay! But I'm sure if you try it, experiment, play around, you'll get some awesome photos. And I really appreciate y'all for coming. Yay! You can check out the Cosplay Pirates website if you want to see any more of my bad work. Or good work.
It's improved.
You know, some of the good work's there too. Thank you all. I'll be up here if you have any questions.